A grand jury indicted the 26-year-old on 11 counts, including first and second-degree murder and terror charges in December.
Luigi Mangione was in state court in Manhattan today, where he previously pleaded not guilty to murder and terror charges.
Luigi Mangione appeared in state court Friday on charges of first-degree murder, terrorism, stalking, and firearms offenses in the shooting death of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson outside a Manhattan hotel in December. Prosecutors laid out evidence, and the judge gave the defense until April to respond. The 26-year-old's legal team says he's not being treated fairly.
Luigi Mangione remains in federal custody, where he is being prosecuted in 3 jurisdictions by the federal government, by New York State, and by Altoona, Pennsylvania. But he's being held in federal custody, and the Department of Justice has refused to allow him to be in state custody, despite the fact that they've all agreed that the state court is going to go first. Number one, the federal government is still considering whether to execute Luigi and considering whether to seek the death penalty. So we are fighting that simultaneously while going first here in state court. And it impacts our ability to meet with him before court, after court. He's constantly surrounded by law enforcement. He's in shackles. He was wearing a vest today. Looked like I don't even know what it looked like, but a very serious vest with his legs shackled and his arms shackled. He's being treated differently because he's being held in federal custody than any other person who would be facing serious murder one charges in New York State court. I don't understand what this show of danger is for. When I go visit Luigi at MDC in Brooklyn, I sit with him. He is unshackled. He walks around freely in the visiting area. We sit in a room together without law enforcement hovering over us. But for whatever reason, here, despite all the law enforcement, they need him to be wearing this vest. They need him to be shackled, and they stand right over us, and we get no time with him. He is being treated differently. We also made a record. Although the Manhattan DA's office has been providing discovery, we're past the discovery deadline, but they have made an effort to provide discovery, and we appreciate it. But what we haven't received, police paperwork from New York City. We haven't received any of, they call them DD5s. Those are the follow-up police reports that detectives write. I am sure there will be hundreds of them, and we have not received those yet. Just today received the discovery regarding the arrest in the Altoona case, and we've received a little of that previously, and we are concerned that Luigi's constitutional rights were violated in Pennsylvania, and there are serious search and seizure issues that will be litigated in that case in Pennsylvania and in this case here and in the federal case, because if there is a search and seizure issue, and again, we have to review all of the paperwork and camera footage when we receive, but so far what we are seeing is we think there is a serious search and seizure issue. We want the opportunity to litigate it, including in Pennsylvania, but the Department of Justice is refusing to transport him and allow him to face the charges in Pennsylvania. So he cannot litigate those issues in Pennsylvania, which brings me to the most important point that we made today, which is Luigi's right to a fair trial is being infringed upon because he is being publicly treated as guilty, having the presumption of guilt as opposed to the presumption of innocence. Of course, I understand the NYPD's need for a press conference before an arrest or after an arrest, which they did here. I didn't like it, but they did it, and I understood it. What I did not understand was how shocking it was that this week on HBO, in a documentary, I see the chief of detectives and the New York City mayor, full hair and makeup done, sitting down and giving an interview for television and talking about the evidence in Luigi's case, talking about police paperwork that we don't have, talking about forensics that we have not yet received. I guess we have now today, but I didn't when I was sitting there learning about the case, hearing an actor play Luigi reading from a journal that they say is Luigi's, and we have yet to receive it from the prosecution. And so it's outrageous that they have time to go and prejudice Mr. Mangione's ability to receive a fair trial and go out and make these statements, but not give this to us. Luigi really wanted to thank the supporters for being here, and we all appreciate it very much.
Crowdsourcing has generated more than $500,000 for Mangione's legal fees, and protesters demonstrated again Friday. The case has cracked open broader frustration with the American healthcare system.
Luigi Mangione had one deliberate intention in an alleged attempt, even though he is still innocent until proven guilty. But the message is still clear, and that's that we need healthcare reform.
CBS Levinson says if this does go to trial, attorneys will look for jurors that can be impartial, even if they've heard of the case.
What we're looking for is people who can walk into that jury box and then later into the deliberation room. And here's the applicable law. Here are the facts that were presented to me, and I'm going to make a decision only based on that.
Pennsylvania, where a fugitive Mangione was finally arrested, also says it will not drop the 5 charges there. Mangione is being held in a Brooklyn federal jail where other high-profile defendants like Sean Diddy Combs and Sam Bankman-Fried are also behind bars.